Hi guys, welcome to Random Chicas. My name is Bridget, and I'm an IT specialist currently working with kids between the ages of 3 and 12. I've had several trainings on how to deal with kids and interpret their behavior. So the Random Chicas have invited me to talk about kids' behavior and development. Stay tuned and enjoy! So I have some topics that I had written down and I want to discuss them with you. I might have left some out, you might have noticed some, so don't forget to comment below and add what you've noticed. Now we shall start with don't lie to your kids. Guys, if you're going to work, you're going to hospital, you're going to a friend, tell your child. Because if they discover you're lying, they're going to use that against you, or they'll also become liars. They'll start lying to you about things because you've taught them how to lie without even realizing it. So generally, tell the kids the truth. Even if it's going to hurt them, it will make them cry, but deep down, they will know it is the truth and they will understand. Some parents, when they're going for parties or to visit friends and they don't want to take their kids along, they tell them, I'm going to hospital. If you go with me, they will inject you. Do you want to be injected? Do you want to cry? So please, don't use those tricks. Kids are going to use those same tricks on you in future. The second one is pay attention to your kids' interests. Now, right from the start, like from the ages when they are really young, they will show interests of things they like. A kid may like painting, they may like singing, you know. And then you find a child prefers singing, but in your family, you are doctors. You want the child to be a doctor. So you tell the kid to start learning things like focus on mathematics, focus on science. But clearly this child is good at other things and that you're ignoring. These are kids that grow up, give you your degree in being a doctor, being an engineer, and after that degree they just go and do whatever they want. So you feel like you wasted your money on a kid, but it's because right from the start, you didn't pay attention to what they preferred. So if your child has a certain talent in something, learn to invest in it. It could be small things. Ballet, singing competitions in school, encourage them. Be there when they're in those competitions, sports, and all those. Our third point is listen to your kids when they say they don't want to stay with someone. Now, usually kids, by the time they don't like someone, it means something happened between the child and that person. But most times, parents ignore all those facts. They think they just want to follow the parents around. They don't want to stay home. But those kids have a reason. They may not tell you, but it's good to find out if anything happened between that person. Because between that person and your child. Because they will prefer other people, but why not that person? So you should really be concerned when kids start refusing to stay with specific aunties, cousins. They don't want to go to neighbors' places. So maybe it could be for their safety, or it could be maybe they don't like the person genuinely for no reason. But look into it. It's really good to look into it and find out. The fourth point is some kids are too active that they skip out on doing some things. But for you, take it as being stubborn. They don't want to listen. They're being big-headed. For example, there are kids who have trouble using forks and spoons. You find right from childhood, you've taught this child how to use a fork, how to use a spoon. But here they are 5 years old, they are 6, but they don't know how to use a fork or a spoon. And it's not because they do not know, but they are too active that this fork, this spoon is wasting their time. They would rather use their hands, finish the food, chop chop, and get over with it. Our next point is about attention. Now there are so many points about attention. So I'll look at just 3. Now some kids, if you don't give them attention, they'll do the same thing to you. You ignore them, they'll ignore you. So if you're always on your phone, always on your laptop, always watching TV, if you're talking to that child, there will be a point when they're also focusing on what they are doing and they won't want to listen to what you are saying. And you will be speaking and they're acting like you don't exist or you're not even there, because that's what you do to them as well. Then the other point on attention is some kids will cry or do random things just to get your attention. Now for this, I have an example. There was this perfect child in class, always doing everything right. But one afternoon, he just decides to wear pencil tins from the tables as heels, as in like shoes. And he walked towards me and he's like, teacher, see. And I was like, really? But it's because he's too perfect. He's like so good in class that you really have to focus so much on him to do things. So that was his way of getting attention. So kids do those things at home as well. They'll wake up one day and they've broken the TV. And you ask them how. They don't even know why and how they did it. But it's like an attention thing for them. They want you to pay attention to them, care for them, and be there. My next point on attention is stay-home moms who think staying home is actually being there for the child. Now, I'm not judging, but sometimes when they are home, they're actually not focusing on the child. They are watching TV, they're on their phones, maybe they are talking to neighbors, they're in conversations, or they're on Netflix, they're watching soaps the whole day, they're waking up late, and this doesn't give them enough time to be there for the child. So much as you're physically there, you're not actively there with the child to play with them, help them with something, so they feel left out and they end up feeling alone. Or they'll even end up doing random things just to get your attention. Like, you find an example, stay-home moms. You're watching your soap, you're enjoying your movie, and this kid comes from nowhere and jumps on you. They're trying to touch your cheeks, they're trying to block your face because they want you to focus on them. Others would even cry for nothing. They'll even accuse the maid and say, auntie has beaten me. That's just a way to get your attention. If you stay home, if you're a stay-home mom or any stay-home parent, please be actively there. Don't just be physically there. So there are so many points about attention. So many. You will discover new things every day. So I'll only give you those about attention. Now let's go to the next point. There are some kids who are left with maids, aunties, or people they don't like, or people who don't even care for them. So the kids end up seeking comfort in dolls, teddy bears, blankets, for comfort instead of dealing with those people. There'll be examples of kids wanting to carry a blanket everywhere, whether it's to watch TV, to go visit friends. Like they always want to carry that specific blanket. Or if it's a teddy bear or a doll, they want to carry it everywhere, when you're not around especially. There are some kids who even get imaginary friends. You find your child in the bedroom alone, talking to themselves, playing, and you ask them who are you talking to, they tell you, I'm talking to Jane, I'm talking to Peter, my new friend. But there's no one in the room. But because the child created that friend in their mind when they were having a lonely time with a person who didn't either care or they didn't like, they'll keep up that personality. And if it's not taken care of, it could actually go on for a very long time. Now, my next point is birthday parties. I'm very sure so many people are culprits. Like I said, I'm not judging. But most times when we have our kids' birthday parties, we invite our friends, not our kids' friends. And then we also forget to ask them what they want. Their kids don't want parties. Personally, I grew up not liking birthday parties, by the way. But I wanted gifts. Just buy me a gift and I will be so happy. So you end up throwing a very big birthday party for this child. You invite your friends. You do so many things. But they are not happy because that's not what they wanted. Some of you will go ahead and throw a Django-themed party. And the kid probably doesn't even like Django animals. Maybe they want cars. Maybe they want Sophia the First. Maybe they want teddy bears. You know?
Or they simply want just not to go to the cinema and watch Ben 10.
Or they simply want to go to the cinema and watch Frozen. They want to go and watch Ben 10. You know? Simple things. So please, when planning for your child's birthday, invite their friends, not your friends. Some of you will even invite friends who will bring kids that this kid has never seen, does not even like. My next point is about cartoons. Now, most times we want kids to watch cartoons and not watch anything else that may be not for their age. But sometimes these cartoons change their personalities and the way they behave. For example, there are kids who will adopt accents. I've seen a child who has adopted the British accent because they watch Peppa Pig. As in everything they use in the cartoon is what she says. Like everything just changed, and this is not the child's character, but they are copying things in the cartoon. Now there are some who also want to copy their dressing, but they are cartoons. These things are not real. There are others who will even copy magic tricks. They want to do magic, they want to fly. So there are some who will even try to jump off, balconies because they want to fly, they think they have magic. So you also need to watch out the cartoons the kids watch and explain to them that these are not real. About also what kids watch, we also need to mind what our kids are watching, mostly wrestling. It's becoming a trend these days. Most boys between the age of 3 and 10, actually up to like 12, they like watching wrestling a lot. But these kids go ahead and practice all those things that they watch. They probably don't even read the sentence on the screen that says, "Do not try this at home." So they want to try all those things and fight and and in the end, they break their friends' arms, they break their kids' legs. Almost every after a holiday, kids come with broken arms and they tell you I was playing, but they won't tell you the truth that they were wrestling. They just say we were playing. So it's really risky and they really need to stop watching them. Then there are some movies. There are some people who thought Indian soaps were safe until last year we had an accident. Not in my school, but it was around everywhere in newspapers. These kids who watched an Indian movie of someone strangling themselves and they tried it. I don't know if most of you watched it, but that girl in Uganda, that girl was brain dead for some time and lost her life. And she was so young, very little girl. So the things they watch, much as they may not have pornography, which everyone is looking out for, it also has actions that kids are going to try and hurt themselves. So be mindful. Now, another point I have is about kids' drawings. Now I've experienced this with kids. Sometimes I teach them art. So you tell kids to draw their family. Now this child draws mommy and daddy, and they draw themselves, and they add the maid into the family. Now on top of that, you find that the child is standing closer to the maid than to the parents. What does this mean? It means the parents are either so busy for the child and this child is always with the maid, or they actually prefer being with the maid that they even put them in their family picture. Yet they know a family has mommy, daddy, and me as the child. So most of these drawings usually communicate what the child is trying to say, but parents don't take it into account. They just be happy the child can draw, they can draw this, they can draw mommy with nice hair. But this is clearly communication. There's a child who also once drew his family, but in the family picture, daddy is working, mommy is working, and the child is playing alone. So that shows that these guys are always working. Even when you ask them, what did you do this weekend? They tell you, I was home watching TV. You're like, yeah, how was mommy? They even tell you, I don't know. So usually this the things that happen, kids that communicate them in pictures. Now, another example is of the things they watch. You may not be there, but this child draws for you a painting of people killing each other. Or they draw something like someone having a knife and they're cutting someone else. Now, for a child below 8 years, that's not normal. That's not something they should be drawing. They should be drawing happy things. So it means this is something they watched or they saw somewhere. So always pay attention to those drawings because they are communicating to you. They may not say anything, but that painting is saying so much for you to listen. So when you're not fortunate to have your child's teachers communicate with you what this child is drawing and saying in these pictures, it will really be so unlucky for you. But us as teachers, like where I teach, if we see something like that, we tell a parent, we're concerned, this and this happened, this and that happened. Like we show them the picture and they know something is wrong, something is going on that this parent is not aware of. Lastly, don't compare your kids. Now, kids are very different. Even if they have the same biological parents, they might all be bright, but they all have different personalities. Or if they're even different at everything, don't expect them to be the same. Don't expect, let's use an example of Bridget and Jane. Don't expect Jane to be like Bridget. So if Bridget is good at math, maybe Jane is going to be good at drawing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Kids are just different. It can even be between your siblings' kids, your friends' kids. If this one is the first in class, you can't compare your child to be in the same category just because they're in the same class as that child. This one may be the first because they're acing everything in class. But this one may be best at everything in MDD in school. Every activity in school, they're there, they're active, they're perfect. But maybe not in class. So don't compare. Our kids are very different. So generally, watch out for your kids' behavior because clearly it's a way of communicating to you. They will behave differently. The way they behave at home, is it the way they will behave at school? Is it the way they will behave in someone else's home? So you need to know how they behave in every situation and also find out why. Because there's so many factors. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and comment. I know most of you will have so many comments. You have so many experiences. So please, don't feel shy. Comment below. And don't forget to share with your friends who have kids. Ta-da!